Two of the producers came to me 7 years ago, and they brought me this story, and they knew I was looking for something to direct, and something about it just struck a chord with me, and I flew to Arizona and to Mesa and met Anthony and Judy, and it was instinctually told me it was the right thing to do, and to be able to tell this story, I think the world needs to know Anthony and to feel some of that, what the character he has and what he's done in his life. And ultimately, it's about storytelling and this is an amazing story, and I think that that's what great movies are about. So I just found the story incredible. It was unpredictable. It was, had obviously a terrific ending, and I felt like being sort of an ex-athlete, not on that level, it felt really, kind of true for me and real for me, and I decided to go with it. Well, Jarrell won me over before I even met him because I saw his performance in Now They See Us, and it was extraordinary, and obviously Moonlight as well. But I mean, his performance in Now They See Us is so heartbreaking and amazing. I just thought it would be a gift to have him be in this movie, and I knew he had the depth as an actor to pull this role off, and both physically and it's because it's obviously physically demanding. So I just knew he was the right guy, and we met at a coffee shop in Culver City, and I think we both hit it off. And I stressed him that I wanted this to be the same as I stressed everybody. I just wanted this to be a partnership. I wanted it because this is a heavy movie. It's not at times, and I wanted this. It was the two of us doing this, and we decided we could do it together.
As an actor, you're very used to somebody walking on set that kind of looks like you. That's the stunt double, they say. But this time around, it was the guy I'm actually portraying. So it definitely, it had its perks and then its cons, of course. The perks for me was that I got to lean on him and his energy and continue to learn from him even in the moments. Because actually, for the first time, I'm realizing it now, I saw Anthony nervous, and it was on set. So I hadn't seen him nervous in the wrestling rooms. I hadn't seen him nervous in the gym and all these other places that he's comfortable in. This is his first time on a big Hollywood set. So watching him and observing his nerves also fed into a lot of the performance I got to do in some of those moments that aren't so necessarily happy and so necessarily, triumphant. But then the con was that the pressure, man. This he's a beast. So I'm over here looking at myself in the mirror trying to puff my chest up and walk around, next to this guy. So, but overall, it was beautiful.
I remember getting the call from Billy asking if I'd be interested in if I would commit to playing and helping with the wrestling roles in the film. And I was excited about that because that's the world I grew up in. That's the world that I knew. But being behind the camera, this is a completely different world. And I just remember that day first being out there, just being so nervous. But Jarrell kind of talked me off of that ledge and helped me to kind of relax. And, hey, this is what you know, man. You go out there and do what you love doing. And it was just a joy to be able to go through the whole experience and just to see how everything comes together. But not just that, but also just the care of telling my story the right way. And Jarrell, just to see his little attention to detail. And it wasn't just about him asking me questions, it was about him just watching me and the little mannerisms and the little things that I do and really taking those things in and portraying that. And it was special for me. It was a treat.
I think the world needs stories like this and movies like this. They're inspirational. And I think the fact that Judy is Latina and this is a very Latino story in a way, but it's just a universal story. It's like those things that just kind of transcend all races and colors and creeds and all of the things. And for me, it was personal in a way. It's always personal when you take it on, right? But with Judy and the two of us getting to know each other and getting to talk, and really hearing, firsthand what her story was like, what it was like to be pregnant at 16, what it was like to, have a child born with no leg, and just describing every single moment to me. I mean, I wound up asking Billy at one point, I was like, can I please put in this little story about, in the scene where I tell him that he's unstoppable. I was like, I never told you this story. But when you were little, they tried, and she shared that with me. That was just kind of like an ad-libby thing that she told to me about how she felt. So you could really feel like the struggle of what it was to, for her to kind of step into motherhood at such a young age. And the two of them really wound up kind of raising each other, helping each other. Because at the end of the day, Anthony inspired her to understand that, like, you can do anything. I'm watching this issue. It was like, I remember him going out onto the mat when he was, he was, when did you start exactly? But you were little, 14. She's like, and this kid, he's hopping out onto the mat and he's just like, she's like, that's my son. What is he gonna do? What are these kids gonna beat him up? Like she was nervous and scared, and what that was, and kind of taking that all and putting it all in the film. It was just, for me, a real honor to be able to play her, and then to see it, it's such a beautiful thing at the end of the movie to see like that she has her PhD and she's like running the college now that he went to, that, he had to walk on and they didn't even want him there. And now she's like works there, and it's amazing. It's a really beautiful story. And I was really intent on playing and not shying away from the difficult moments in their life, because what I told Judy and what I told Anthony, I was like, that's what makes it so triumphant. I said, it wasn't easy, it was hard. And we can't be afraid of those things, those moments in our lives. We have to, own our story in that way, because that's what makes us human.
I will echo something that Jarrell says. There's a bit of intimidation taking the part on. I'm new to wrestling. I was a fan of it, but I've never had any experience, which in a lot of ways is a great thing about being an actor. We get to take on all of these different roles. We get to learn about all of these new things that we haven't experienced. So we're constantly being students. But taking this on and having to be the coach of someone who is so exceptional. Look, the script is the Bible, and that's what we're playing. What these parts are written, and we're in a collaborative field and a collaborative environment, thanks to Billy. But it's it's a lot to think about and a lot to deal with. And the first day that I came to the set was the first day that I actually met Anthony and Jarrell, and they were already into the wrestling, and it was already so developed by the time I was there. It was like, this is just, don't mess this up, But it was great to get to meet him and to get to meet his family, and also to get to meet the guy who I portray in the film, Sean Charles, who was a font of information and really gave us the opportunity to really, everyone was so generous with not only their time but their stories and their lives, that we got to really, build out our characters from that perspective. And it's just great to bring this story, and I'm really happy for Anthony and Judy that they get to see this happen and they got to feel what happened last night.
It's a journey, right? I got a call from Ben, and he said, hey, I'm going to send you a script, but you should read this book. This is an amazing story, and this young guy wrote this great book, and I said, oh yeah, I remember seeing that Jimmy V speech when he won the ESPY award, and it was amazing. And it's amazing. Like, the power of film is really powerful sometimes. You can watch a clip of Anthony and his match, and then you can go and watch him accept that award, and then you can read his book. But really, like, the full circle moment is watching this movie. I have these two little boys, and it's hard sometimes to explain what perseverance is and what drive is and what self-possession is. And I think the movie is such a great full circle thing, so that I can't wait to show my kids this movie and show them exactly what all those things are. And that he did it with so many odds against him. I mean, obviously, he had his physical challenges, but, at home, like this country, this world is littered with working families, people who work 2 and 3 jobs, dads who work crappy jobs and come home and they bring that home with them, and they try to do the right thing, and they don't always do the right thing. There's too many kids in the house. There's not enough food in the house, whatever. This is like an everyday occurrence happening. And I just love that the movie shows all of this. And through all of that, this family emerges. This family succeeds. Not every movie does that. And that's really the power of a good movie and the power of a great story. And I'm just so excited about that.
Well, for me, it's that word unstoppable. I just remember being on the wrestling mat in the practice room, and I think you'll see this in the film. In the practice room, it's intense. We wrestle groups of 3. It's live goes. It's violent. It's quick. It's aggressive. And you don't have time to feel sorry for yourself. You just have to go back out there and keep fighting. And I believe that's very much the way life is. You might face a challenge that you think is too big to overcome. You might not have the luxury of time that you want, but it's all about how you respond to it. And that's to me, what unstoppable is that message of, no matter what you wrestle, you can overcome it as long as you have that courage just to keep fighting. As long as the sun rises the next day and you have that opportunity, you keep going after it.
Go out there and keep fighting.
Right.